Good afternoon, folks. Jordan here with the Nutty Gnome Homestead. Today is February 19th, 2023, and I am out here in front of some of my elderberries, getting ready to take and propagate a few more cuttings. Now, I've got three types of elderberries on my farm right now. I've got some of the native Sambucus canadensis, and I also have some York cuttings and also Bob Gordon elderberry cuttings that I'm going to try to get started now. But for today, we're going to be working with the native elderberry. This is the one that I make my elderberry syrup and elderberry gummies with. These are very easy to propagate. Folks, these are practically like a weed. You stick them in the ground, they're going to grow. So what we like to do is take our cuttings, take them inside. Although rooting hormone is not necessary, it can help, especially if you have difficulty propagating plants in the past. I do recommend that you keep these out of direct sunlight for about a month to 6 weeks or so to get yourself the best start. Putting them on the windowsill on the north side of your house, they'll still get just a little bit of light. It'll work. You can root these in potting soil, soilless potting mix, seed starting mix, compost, or you can even just stick them right in the ground and they will grow. I tend to root mine in multiple different ways. Last year we grew several hundred cuttings into starts. We expanded several of our patches. I've got 3 elderberry patches here on the farm. We pick somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100 pounds of picked berries annually off of these. So I make a lot of wine and a lot of syrup and whatnot. So let me bring you guys in here and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these cuttings. Alright folks, what we have here is one of our patches of elderberries. A lot of these are 5, 6, 7 foot long, these canes. I cut all these down to the ground last year, so this is all 1 year growth. What we were looking for is a piece of the cane that is approximately the diameter of a pencil. So right here in the middle of the screen, you'll see that's about the diameter of a pencil. That is a good cutting. Now what we'll look for is we want to have a set of nodes on top, and they're alternate, so they'll be facing this way one time and the next time they'll be facing alternate. So there's 2 sets of nodes on here, and then the way we do this is take our pruning shears. I like to make a cut right here at the top that lets us know that our plant is facing the right direction. Snip it off flush on the other end, come down about 1 inch below the node and make a 45-degree cut. And if I can get this to focus, there we go. And that, folks, is our elderberry cutting that's going to grow into a new plant. Pretty cool, huh? Alright folks, when I moved back into the greenhouse, one was getting blowing pretty hard out there, getting a little hard to hear. So these are just half-gallon pots that I went on ahead and marked. You always want to mark what variety you're dealing with because for a while they all look the same, so you don't want to get them all mixed up. And let me show you exactly how simple this is to get your elderberry started. Move you in here a little closer. So here I have some elderberry cuttings. These were too small for sale, so I like to get these rooted and use them around here on the farm. It does not take long for them to get to this stage. Just put them in a cup of water or put them in some sand or whatnot, and they start putting out a little bit of growth. They'll have some little white nodes at the bottom that's where the roots are going to come from. So what we do is we will take one of these and, though it's not necessary, I've got the rooting hormone out here in the greenhouse, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Figure why not give me a little better chance. And all I'm going to do, I put a little bit in a small container. You want to make sure you get the hormone around that set of nodes. Now these are going to put out roots relatively quickly. This is my right pot for the native ones. Push them down, and that's how we start these elderberry cuttings. Let me show you guys another one here. Here we have a beautiful Bob Gordon variety of elderberry cutting. These just came in this week. I've been looking forward to these. They were cut, I think, on Tuesday is what they said. So I'm going to freshen up this cut slightly. I always cut this in at about a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to freshen up my cut, add a little bit of rooting hormone. And since this is the Bob Gordon, it's going to go in the Bob Gordon container. And I want to push that in about 2 inches above those leaf nodes. And I'm going to put 5 in each one of these containers. That seems to work out well for us. Here's another one that we started, one of ours. Look at the growth on that. So I did several hundred of these cuttings last year and really expanded everything that we had here on the farm. Like I said, we do try to pick several gallons of elderberries every year. And these are just the ones that were too small to give away or to sell or anything like that. So instead of wasting them, I figured why not put them to good use. Now once I'm done here, there, I'll put 6 in that one. Once I'm done here, these aren't going to stay out here in the greenhouse. Temperature fluctuates too much, it's too bright. I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to put them inside the house in a sunny window on the north side of the house. Let me show you guys this. Little rooting hormone on there. Stick it in. I have really looked forward to getting these cuttings for a while. Finally decided to go ahead and buy some. Now, if you're afraid that pushing this cutting with the rooting hormone down in the soil is going to knock that rooting hormone off, just take a pin, poke a hole, stick it in the hole. I've never really had a problem with it, but that's not to say that you can't. I need to get me some more rooting hormone in here. This rooting hormone that I'm using, the Hormone 3, I've had this container for a year. Made close to 1,000 propagations with it last year. And I'll probably get close to that again this year. I'll do this on my roses and berries and all of my tomatoes that we take cuttings off of. Poke a little hole, stick it in there, cover it up. Now with these cuttings, you absolutely do not want to let them get dried out. So keep them moist I tend to water from the bottom the best that I can. If that means putting them in a tray of water and letting them soak up water from the bottom, that does tend to be best. And I got some more cuttings here. I'm going to try them a different way. Like I said earlier, folks, elderberries are practically a weed. They'll grow just about anywhere. And now, since I took some cuttings, I'm going to come through here and I'm going to sanitize my my trimmers real quick. So, a little bit of alcohol over here. And we're going to get these wiped off. So we're good to go. We don't want to spread any disease, although these came from a nursery. I don't think they'll have any problems, but this is the York variety, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to come down about 1 inch below the nodes, make a cut. I got some rooting hormone in here. We're going to give it a healthy dose of rooting hormone. I've got it, so I may as well use it, right? Make a hole, stick it in, cover it up. Now, like I was saying earlier, folks, this is a little bit longer, bigger cutting than I'm used to planting. Like I said, I typically do mine about the size of a pencil. But you got a set of nodes down here and you got a set of nodes up here. And if you don't know which way goes up, the nodes will typically have an upward slant to them. So that's why you'll see a lot of people with their cuttings, they'll put a 45-degree cut on the bottom. That way so you know which end goes into the ground. Make our hole. Now whenever these start to root, they're going to send out roots from this bottom set of nodes. That's where those roots are going to come from. So that's where we want to get that rooting hormone up to, just to give it the best possibility of success. Typically with elderberries, we run somewhere around 60 to 80%. The time of year plays a big role in it, as well as the environmental conditions. I do like to plant a lot of mine outside. So if it's not wet or raining enough, I highly suggest you watering them because they do like to stay moist. Elderberries thrive in an environment where you can't grow much else, in my opinion. Folks, for being 50 degrees outside, it's close to 72 degrees inside this greenhouse. It feels pretty good. And I think I'll put one more in there. I'm really looking forward to getting these 2 more varieties growing here on the farm. I said I've wanted these for a while and finally broke down and bought some. There you have it, folks. That's all there is to it. 3 different kinds of elderberry cuttings planted. These will take root 4 to 6 weeks, probably. And then I'll transplant these into their own containers. I only leave them in here until they have some decent roots on them, and then I'll dig each one out individually. Bottom water. That way so you're not going to get mold on the top or potentially rot your canes. If you water from the bottom, put them in a tray and let the water bring up from the bottom, it'll actually promote growth from the roots down into these canes. So that's all there is to propagating elderberries, folks. Till next time, y'all stay safe. If you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'll try to get back with y'all. Till next time, we'll see you.